Overlooking the wall, in the darkness of the cold swamp winter air, few shadows lengthened between the war-scarred trees, the thick blizzard, and the heavy blanket of snow slowly pushed aside. Danger approaches the German fortress. Ever so slight, sounds of movement drowned by the winds. As it slowly quiets, and only the brief clang of broken metal is audible, gaps in the barbed wire start to appear. In the year 1917, World War I, what is now Latvia was then part of the Russian Empire, cut in half by kilometers-long trenches and metal wires, where two foreign powers had dug in. The winter months had come. A 30-kilometer-long wall, built out of dirt and wood, was constructed across Tīraipurs, a swamp on the right bank of the river, Lielpe, an important salient to the Germans for the future attack against Riga. The German 8th Army's advance into Russian Empire was stopped near Riga in October 1915, after which the Germans almost immediately started to fortify their positions, where they still, after more than a year, remained now. After failures in the Romanian front, the Russians were looking for another sphere of attack, for the purpose of drawing away enemy troops from the now famous Battle of Verdun. After previous failures to land a significant breakthrough, orders were received to attack the Riga front. On the marshy outskirts, and the now for over a year dug-in Germans were well prepared. More favorable conditions were necessary for the Russian advance. As the winter frost now froze the Latvian bog, the requirements for attack were set. On December 23rd, when the Germans thought least of a Russian attack, expecting them to celebrate Christmas, the Latvians, refraining from using an artillery barrage to land the element of surprise, attacked the wall as the advance guard. After a brief skirmish, the first lines were into Latvian hands. Many Latvian soldiers were unable to go past the German barbed wire and make it to the wall. After realizing there are no means of retreating without getting spotted, they stayed, choosing to freeze to death rather than retreat and betray their brothers on the attack. The battle continued over the next 2 days with varying success, the Latvians breaching the defense line at Mangali. This development being insignificant as there were no further reinforcements on hand to put to action, apart from the 17th Siberian Regiment, which refused to go to battle, along with the other units from the Siberian Army Corps, thus causing the halt of offensive action. A German counterattack was launched against the Latvian and Russian positions in their breached defenses, fighting in the freezing cold at negative 35 degrees. The Latvian riflemen units held back the German attack for 48 hours, awaiting reinforcements from the Siberian regiments, which never came. On 25th of December, Christmas morning, an attack was launched on the northern side of the bog, now dubbed the Machine Gun Hill. 3rd and 7th Latvian Riflemen regiments, after suffering heavy casualties, had almost completely encircled the German fortress. After the first men went over the walls of the fort from behind, at last it fell quiet. The capture of Machine Gun Hill was the biggest victory of the Riga front, resulting in the capture of 1,000 out of the original 3,000 Germans, and a 7-kilometer-wide gap in the German lines, which remained unexploited, for the Russian 12th Army commander did not expect the Latvians to succeed, thus handing the initiative back to the Germans. The Germans, after receiving many fresh reinforcements in the form of fresh divisions, had organized to launch a counterattack to recapture lost positions. On January 23rd, a massive artillery barrage and an infantry attack against the entire battle line, the now weakened Latvian riflemen and the Siberians desperately defending their positions for 3 days, the Russians attempting to launch counterattacks. One of such attacks involved sending Latvian riflemen across an open field against German heavy machine guns. The Germans, in the end, took back 80% of their previous position. The victories that were paved in Latvian blood, which were in the end wasted by the Russian commanders, who never expected them to succeed in the first place. The Latvians being pushed back by relentless assault of the Germans and receiving no reinforcements. In the end, the Latvians lost approximately 9,000 soldiers, more than 1/3 of their original force. The Latvians, after being thrown against machine gun fire as discardable meat, and left unsupported for days as they fought in the deadly winter cold, desperately attempting to hold their positions, in which so many had fallen to take, gained resentment against the commanders and the Tsar. There is no doubt that this crucial battle soured the Latvian perception of Russian rule, which led down to the path to independence. Many veterans of the Christmas offensive ended up fighting for the free Latvia and their battles for independence, resulting in the victory and achievement of Latvian independence. The significance of the Christmas battles and the Battle of Machine Gun Hill is well understood by Latvians, but remains an unknown battle internationally. This video is dedicated to the soldiers who charged against machine gun fire and breathed their last, alone, in a dark frozen swamp, for the dream of freedom and independence.
Negulceļa maliņā, negulceļa maliņā.